Good morning and welcome to another edition of Badass Marketing. I am once again joined by my co-host, Angela Duns. Angela, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great, Mike. How about yourself?
I can't complain. I could, but we don't have enough time. So, let's just move on.
Yeah, let's skip it.
Yeah, let's keep going. So my recollection, which apparently lately hasn't been that great, is that we're talking about how to give a good referral. Before we go down that path, let's sort of give a little overview of referral marketing. Can you do that for us?
Certainly. When you start your business, you hear everybody say the very best kinds of business you can get is referral business. Now, you have to have a mature business for that to actually start to happen, or you have to have some sort of client base built up from your former position so that you go back to the people that you've worked with before and they already know you, like you, trust you, love you, and are going to work with you. Referral marketing is when you've worked with someone, they really love the work that you did together, and they recommend someone else to come and work with you. Now, hopefully, that's going to be one of your ideal clients, but sometimes it isn't.
And for those of you who, don't know the formal term, most of us call that word of mouth, right? A word of mouth referral.
Yes.
And what's the advantage of referral marketing over other types of marketing?
Well, the best kinds of engagements are built on relationship. And if somebody is referred to you, you're really working off of already a trusted relationship with the person that referred them. And we like to do business with people who are known to be credible and authentic and filled with integrity, that sort of thing. Starting a new relationship is a little scary. Starting even a lukewarm relationship is much less scary. So that's one of the advantages of having a referral relationship. A trusted professional suggested that you work with another trusted professional. And it's a lot easier way to do business. It's already warmed up a certain extent. There's already been trust extended.
And what are the disadvantages of referral marketing?
If the person that referred to you doesn't have a clear understanding of who your ideal audience is, and they send you someone, it's their best friend, but they're not in your ideal audience.
Yeah, and I'm going to echo that in that, a lot of times we will get a referral that's not really a good fit. Yet because of the relationship we have with the referrer, we sort of have to go through the motions and make sure that, we're responsive and all that kind of thing. And it's time consuming, but often very frustrating because we know this is just never going to be a client, right? Um, so what should we do in those cases where we get a referral that's not quite right?
We need to go back to the person who gave us the referral and really say, hey, thank you so much for this recent referral. But I'm moving in this direction, and my ideal audience is whatever it whatever it might be in that situation. And it's interesting, I just had to do this with one of my favorite clients. Now, he was an absolute ideal client himself, but he referred someone to me who is pretty far out of my ideal target audience. Now, I took the client, I shouldn't have. Um, I know someone that could have handled him much better than I did, but I did it out of relationship. And I'll tell you, it was an incredible learning experience. I won't do that again. When I know upfront that there's somebody else that can serve that person better, I'm going to pass off that referral.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say no, right? Because, they've come from a source that you have the relationship with. So you want to make sure that you're, responsive to the referrer. But again, sometimes we just need to say no. And for most of it, that's hard to do because, the nature of building our businesses is like, yeah, we could do everything. and we shouldn't, and we definitely can't. So really learning how to say no is probably a topic unto itself, which we can revisit down the road. But yeah, some clients aren't a good fit, and we need to go back and with our referral partners and sort of say, look, I really do appreciate it, and as you mentioned, and that big but that's not really the kind of client that we want. One of the things that we try to emphasize for our referral partners is, we're not looking for the one-off person, the person who wants one, sort of a quick and be done. Because sort of ramping up, getting to know the client, responding to it, and then have it end is not the best uses of our time. Where we're always looking for, ideally, and then we're looking for our ideal clients in the referral, is someone with an ongoing, the potential for an ongoing relationship. So, very often we'll go back to our referral partners with the same thing. Thank you, but we really don't want to, do this type of client, and the reason why. But we do appreciate you thinking of us.
Exactly. And, that's the other part that's really hard about saying no is that there is a trusted relationship involved there. And, you want that person to understand that you really appreciate them thinking of you, and not get offended when you say, that's not a great fit for me. And most
Yeah,
people will
and
handle
some of
that
them will
really
just do
well.
because of that relationship. We're like, oh, we'll just suck it up and do it. But again, on the other side of it, you're like, why did I do that? I'm not happy. That's not my ideal client. That kind of thing.
Right. And you're absolutely right. I mean, if we're trying to build a sustainable business, those one-off relationships are not where that's going to be built. It really is learning discernment and educating your referral partners well so that they understand exactly what kind of person, what type of business, and what their needs might be, whether they be short-term or long-term.
For many of us who have been in referral marketing for a long time, we're just so genuinely excited that we're able to make a referral, right? Because
Yes.
we're under that pressure, like make a referral. I owe you one, like, and you just want to throw them a bone, but you really, you do need to step back and like, is this a good fit? Is this something that they actually want to do? We're like, oh, I just got to make someone, I got to give Angela a referral. Well, I'll throw her this one, and then like it's off my plate. I can check that off. I've given her something, and then if I don't hear from you, I'm going to keep throwing you those horrible referrals because I don't know any better. It's not because I'm intentionally trying to send you bad referrals, but it's like, the onus is on the receiver to say, hey, that really wasn't good for me, and I do appreciate you thinking of me, but no, stop doing that.
And that is the thing. Not everybody is going to be able to refer to you. They may feel the pressure to refer to you, but they may not run into your ideal client. That might not be part of their everyday business, is to run into clients that would be good for you. So, after you've been in word of mouth marketing for a while, you really come to accept the fact that I might be a good referral partner for someone, but for somebody else who I really want to give a referral, I may not be a good partner for them. I may not run into their ideal client.
When that happens for us, we go with the Kevin Bacon approach.
And the Kevin Bacon approach is,
Okay. So, there's a game, right? The Kevin Bacon 6 degrees. So, like, if you name any actor, right, Kevin Bacon has been within 6 degrees, and usually it's like 2 degrees of, like, so he starred in this movie, who co-starred with this person, who then met with that person. So that's the game, right? So when we can't make a direct referral to that referral partner, we will, part of getting to know this client is who are your clients, what do they need, who are your referral partners, what do they need, and go into those second and third degree, because what I can do is I can pass off a referral to my referral partner that might meet the needs of people in their network. So again, that Kevin Bacon effect of, not always only having to give to Angela directly, but I know that Angela, works with attorneys. So if I have an attorney referral, I'm going to pass it along to Angela and say, hey, look, I got somebody who's looking for this type of attorney. Do you have someone in your network? And, being that you work with attorneys, you're very likely to. And then that gives me good points with you. And then you get good points with your attorney because then you make a referral. So if you can't make the direct referral, one of the other, opportunities is these second and third degree referrals that you can pass through your referral partner. And everybody
It,
benefits because you're happy I gave it to you because your client's happy that they got one from you. So like it's a win-win for everybody.
I love that there's a name for that.
I just made it
And
up,
I, I
right?
I think that you really, well, it's a fun name. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a complex situation, really, to think of second and third degree referrals. But if you've been a networker for any amount of time, if you've been in your business and you know your business really well, it's just an additional step, a mindset that you have to adapt to be making those further referrals. And every referral helps grease the wheel for business. It just does.
And what I can tell you is, as a seasoned referral partner, we will have built a profile on you, right, from our discussions. And not only do we ask you who, you know, is your ideal client, but we're going to like, okay, who refers to you? Who do you refer to? Right? Because we are aware that I can't always make the direct referral to you, but I do want to make sure that I'm passing you things. So, we will do a profile and put it on, it's on a document, it sits in Google Docs. But we have that. It's not just like trying to remember off the top of my head because I'm old and I can't remember anything off the top of my head. So I have to write everything down. But I do, and because we do that, and part of those questions are who refers to you, who do you refer to, who do you want to refer to, so that we're also thinking beyond just you, that we're thinking about who are your partners. So if we come across something, I can give you a pass through, and that pass through again is just as valuable to all the parties as having made the direct referral.
Right. I ran into a situation yesterday. I took on a new client and she said, "Hey, by the way, do you know anybody who's a great book editor?" And it's random. It's really outside of my wheelhouse, right? But I
Hmm.
just happen to know several. And so I got a hold of all three of them and said, here's what one
We
of
have a
my
mutual friend who's one, don't we?
do we?
Yeah.
A book editor?
Uh, maybe not paper book, but like um
Ebook.
ebooks types. No, no, not ebooks, the audiobooks.
Who do we know in common that does
We
audiobooks?
apparently we don't.
Well, refresh my memory.
What her name's actually escaping me for the moment, so we probably should move on from
Okay,
this
yes, yes. Well,
because
anyway,
this is going to be some dead air.
well, I got
uh,
a hold of all three of them, and
yeah,
my client is trying to put together a short ebook, um, it- nothing more than like 27 pages, something like that, mostly a checklist. But she really wants to have a good editor for that. Now, that's a really narrow little
specific.
lane.
Yeah,
And I'm glad I got a hold of all three of these book editors because one of them loves that. The other two won't touch it.
right. But you have to sort of figure that out, and unfortunately, despite what most people think, referral networking is not a passive activity.
Oh, it takes no, it's
Because you
really
contacted
just
three people to find the right partner to pass it along. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to, because if you had been, like sort of, just passed it to the first person, it would have been, a bad referral because it wasn't their target audience, right? But you would have been happy to check it off your list. Oh, I gave you a referral. What are you complaining about? You know what I mean?
excellent point, Mike. I mean, absolutely excellent point. And, I've gotten much more proactive about the way I give referrals these days. I get a hold of the person first and say, hey, here's the situation. Is this a good situation for you? Should I go ahead and make the introduction? Because I just think that works so much better. If you get to be a trusted referrer, you're going to receive more in return.
I mean, we always sort of gripe at the person who doesn't make referrals. It's like, but even worse than the person who make referrals is the person who keeps sending you somebody who's not your target audience, right? Because the non-referrer person, while you're not getting anything, it's not taking any of your time.
Right.
but the person who's sending the referrals, who in their mind is like, oh, I sent a referral, that's a good thing. That's the one that takes time with the known outcome that, this isn't likely going to convert into a client, or, or a good prospect. So, we do complain about the folks that don't refer back, but even worse than the people who don't refer back are the folks who send you stuff that's just not in your wheelhouse.
Right. And then somehow you have to graciously say no.
Yeah, right.
And,
I've never been associated with graciously, but okay.
well, there are some of us who are from the Midwest who still try to do things
Yeah, I'm a New
great.
Yorker at heart. We skipped over graciously, quickly. So no, we don't do graciously. It's just no, forget it.
Well, what was beaten into my head is if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all.
What fun is that?
Uh, well, it keeps you out of trouble. But you made a really excellent point. This is a time-consuming activity.
Yeah.
You know, Giving good referrals takes some time and effort. And, because I'm in a networking group, every once in a while, I get a lot of requests. Last week I gave 10 referrals. I introduced 20 different people to each other. And that does take time. Now, I'm really happy when I'm able to do that. Um, the other point that I'd really like to make about this is that I want to hear back from you. I really do.
Mm.
I want to hear back from you what happened. Was this a good referral? Did you guys end up doing business together? You know, where did it fall apart? How can I improve on giving you good referrals? Or, was this person just shopping and they're not ready yet?
And I guess the part that I would add to that is, rather than waiting to hear back, is, after a reasonable time, I would just check in. Like, hey, how did that work out for you? Was that, are we, in sync, or what do I need to look for when I'm sending someone to? Because a lot of people who receive referrals who, aren't quite as ungracious as myself, just won't give you that feedback like, though, that was a crappy referral, because they're like, they appreciate the fact you made the effort. But as if you're seriously going to take this, as a marketing effort, you need to reach out to that person and say, hey, I sent you over so and so. How did that work out for you? Was that good? Was that, did I miss the mark? What's the deal? So the only part I would add is maybe not wait for them to, get back to you, because they may not. They may not, out of what they perceive as courtesy, like, I'm not going to, complain that you sent me a referral, because everyone's appreciative of a referral. But the reality is more than a good referral. That
Right. That's a good point. And so that brings me to another question for you, Mike. Do you track the referrals that you give and get?
absolutely, absolutely. We do. I track them. Yeah, and like I said, I have the Google Docs and the spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff, because I'm a data person, and I know that in order to understand if something's working, you need to measure it. So I do track everyone. And do follow them. And and I'm also, and what that does is, one, it percolates to the top. The folks like, oh, I owe somebody something. So there's sort of a reminder aspect of like, oh, I owe Angela a referral. She sent some stuff to me. The other thing is, oh, by the way, it highlights the people who aren't giving back. And you got to know that, if I'm getting a new referral and I'm looking at my list, because I do keep a list, and you haven't given back to me in a while, and I've sent a couple your way, you're not getting the next one. I can tell you that. You know what I mean? Ideally, the first criteria of making the referral is it's a good fit. So as long as it's a good fit, and I have a couple options, I'm gonna opt with the person who sent me something recently, or sent me. When I look at their sort of track record, now this is a referral partner versus a receiver. In referral marketing, we have the givers, the takers, and the folks that are sort of give and take. And everybody loves the giver, right? The person who like sends over the referrals, we love that person. But I can tell you, at the same time, we hate the takers. right? Because it's like there's just no reciprocity. And, as much as I like to be a giver and to make everybody's day, I'm still trying to do business and I'm still trying to do business development. So I need something, so if I've made a couple of referrals and you're not giving back to me, I'm probably going to look for another partner, in that field. I have a friend of mine who's like, you know, how easy is it to unseat a referral partner?
Oh, it's,
Right.
well,
So I
yeah,
refer to Angela all the time, conceptually, right? And for whatever reason, if you don't reciprocate, so I've been giving it to you, I give it to you, and then the one comes along and I'm like, why am I sending this over there if I'm not getting anything back? you
right.
know so that person could eat, and I'm not saying that's you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to suggest that you're not like that, but that person, even though they're a referral partner, could very easily be unseated as your primary source for whatever it is that you're referring, simply by the fact that they don't refer back to it.
Right.
And then we've had this conversation where like somebody's like, oh, no, 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 I always refer to Angela, you know, hands down, you know, we're buddies. That's never going to change or anything like that. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So you get a deal for $1,000. Who are you going to refer to? Angela. You get a deal for, $10,000. Who are you going to refer to? Angela. You get a deal for $50,000 that you can refer to somebody. And your last referral partner sent you a large deal and it wasn't Angela. Where's it going?
To the one that wasn't Angela.
Yeah. So you can be any referral partner. Don't get too comfortable because you can easily be unseated if you're not giving back.
Exactly. Now, I have a situation in my world where I have a really great referral partner who I can't really give business to.
Okay.
And I have read the book Giftology. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I love the concept. So if Tom sends me a really great client and we actually move forward and do business together, I'll just send a random gift at a random time to Tom because I'm never going to be able to send him business. And I just found out that he loves Romeo and Julieta cigars. So I sent him a box of cigars after he sent me a rather large repeat client. And so he sent me a little video of him sitting on the patio smoking a cigar. And I'm telling you, there seriously is no better relationship than that. It's just so fun.
I think that's really cool. I would probably say, if it were me, I might have a different approach. In that I have a referral partner that's a mortgage broker. Okay. I don't have a bunch of people who are looking for mortgages these days. And, so I'm not referring back, clearly not referring back. But what I am doing, especially with this partner, is the second and third degrees. So, the mortgage broker works with real estate people. The mortgage broker works with appraisers, all kinds of different types of other professions in their network. So for me, like if I get a referral that in any way touches sort of his network of people, even if I have one of my own, I might still run it through him to give him that referral because I can't make the direct referrals. So for me, the way that I think about that is, I know I can't make the first degree referral. Like I just don't have the volume to send, like people aren't coming to me like, do you know a mortgage broker? They aren't. They're asking the real estate agents. They're not asking their digital marketing guy about, mortgage brokers. So I just don't touch that universe. But what I can do and what I have done, and I do it fairly regularly with this partner, is I refer things through him, right? So like, I needed an attorney, and I asked him. I said like, who's in your network that can help me with this, and I gave it to him, saying, find me this, we'll make the connection, So for me, I mean, I'm sure your referral partner is very happy with the cigars. For me, from a networking perspective, I would try to figure out, is there other ways to give to his network through him or her, so that there's still there flow of referrals, that you're still sort of top of mind. Um, because that works, but that if you're going to do that with a bunch of referral partners, that could get expensive.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's, you're sort of talking about a one-off, which is cool, and like it's that what you've done there. But if you're going to do this on a regular basis, you don't want to be buying everybody gifts, because I haven't gotten mine yet. So I'm
Next
sure
time.
it's in the mail, but okay.
Yes. Yep. It's in the mail. It's on the
Yeah,
way. It's in the UPS truck right now.
exactly. So for me, my approach would just be like, who's in, is this a lawyer? What does this person do?
He's a franchise consultant.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that's not an easy one, but but who's in his world? Like, who are the professions in his world? Is what I would be like thinking about, right?
Right, right. Yeah, and I was able to um do something else for him.
Mhm.
I got him hooked up with some professionals in where he's living, um, near
So you
Miami.
helped him. You helped him build his network.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I indirectly have
Right.
sent him some other connections and relationships that are going to be really helpful for him.
Okay. So I'm not. Don't get this wrong. I'm not. Criticizing the cigars. A gift's a gift. Everybody. It keeps you top of mind. But from a referral perspective, my approach would have been like, let me look at his network. Let me figure out if I can pass things through him, to sort of stay on the referral topic.
Well, and I think, the deeper the relationship gets, the easier it is to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like with the mortgage broker, he's been a referral partner for a couple of years. So it's like, and he's a generous referral partner. So he's very top of mind, and I know I can't get back to him. So I'm like, oh, how do I give him something? How do I give him something? And I know the way to do it is through the network. So that's how I typically do that. It was funny because I asked him for a referral this week, and he sent me somebody that I had already worked with and I didn't like.
Boy,
you know, So I said, thank you, but no. So again, not quite gracious, but I was like, yeah, no. So then he sort of then like, well, why not? You know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, here's the deal. This person wanted to be paid up front before telling me whether they could solve the problem. You know, it,
oh,
I was like, you know, and
no.
when I pressed the person he was referring me to, before he had even referred to me, because I'd been connected to him through another party, I said, look, you want $5,000, to help me. You got to first tell me whether or not you can help me. I'm not asking you to do the work, but tell me if this is within you know, your realm. And then, I pushed back a couple of times because he kept saying, oh, you got to send me a check, send me a check. To talk to me, you got to send me a check, right? So I pushed back, and finally he's like, oh, well, we don't do that, but I can make a referral for you. So this guy was asking for $5,000 to make the referral. I'm like, oh, we don't play that way.
That's,
And
an
then so
interesting
immediately
referral
I went
concept.
out to look for someone else. And then of course I go back to my network, and my network is suggesting the same person again. And I'm like, no, nope.
Ah, awkward. That's super awkward.
But I also think the point of all that is this referral networking is a really small world, right?
Yes,
So this person's name came up more than once
multiple times.
because they are known within the industry. So this person's name came up more than once. But I went back to my trusted partner and said, no, for this reason. And, based on the relationship I have, I got to think he's going to think twice before he refers this guy again.
And that kind of information has to be helpful all the way around.
Yeah. you know but I mean, if you're in these networks, it is a small world and people know people. So once you start talking and like making referrals, the bad referrals, they bubble up to the surface pretty quick, like, stay away from that person. That isn't a good referral. That person, is questionable. That those types of things. So, your reputation, if you don't do a good job,
Yes.
you know you know there's one thing about being top of mind is if you're top of mind, it's going to work for you or against you, depending on whatever is, being
Yes,
provided.
and negative is more sticky than positive. So back to your point about checking back in after you've given a referral to find out what the
Mm,
quality of that referral relationship is. And if you find out information like what you just described, you'll think twice because your reputation is involved.
yep. And I'm just, like the thing that I found somewhat amusing, not really, but somewhat amusing was, like I'm not happy with somebody. I go back out and I get referred back to the same person. I'm like, oh my God, really? So, and it's
Yeah.
because it's a small world and everyone sort of travels in the same circle. So that's why I think this person's name kept coming back up.
And especially if it's a unique specialty of some
And it
kind.
was, yeah, yeah. So there's not a lot of people who do what we're looking for. Um, so yeah, so that one person kept coming back up, and I was like, nope, nope, not going there.
And in some situations, you do have lots of different choices. You just have to make the right one.
Yeah, yeah, and and this is, so this is a referral for a client of ours. So like, so one of the things is we vet these referrals before we pass them on to our clients, right? So I had a handful of conversations with this person to sort of get to the point that they couldn't help me, which was fine. It would have been nicer if it were more direct and it wasn't, asking me for money first. Um, but the one thing that I think is tremendously important is I didn't just simply pass it off to my client, like, hey, I found you somebody, so that
Right.
that person was going to waste their time. I sort of
Yes.
went through the effort of like trying to quantify or qualify the leads so that this person wasn't wasting my client's time.
Right.
You know, and there are clients, so they pay me, so I do that. So but I think that's equally as important. Just because you get the referral, don't simply pass it along unless you do a little digging.
Yes. Yeah. Uh, oh, you never want to hear somebody come back to you and say, "Why did you send me this referral?"
Well, that was interesting because when I made the additional request and this person's name came back up, and I said no, I didn't say no with any explanation. I said, yeah, no. And of course, immediately that person's like, why? Right? Like, why isn't this a good referral? And I'm like, all right, you opened that can of worms. Here we go. Um, you know, but it definitely, it wasn't the no wasn't going to be good enough. I had to provide some sort of answer as to why that was the case.
Well, and the feedback loop should be open.
Yeah, and I
So,
mean, and it's equally important because this is an ongoing referral partner of mine. So when I never say no to this person, and I was saying no. So that was clearly a red flag that there's more to this story than he doesn't want to be bothered, right?
yes. So interesting.
I mean, I think that referral marketing is an extremely powerful tool, and yet I don't think it's a passive activity.
No, no, I think you're absolutely right. It really takes, because it does take time. And so there should be intention involved with it as well. And I think, this whole discussion that we've had about the quality of the referrals that we pass along makes it a very active activity rather than something, oh, here's a name, try it.
Yeah, good luck. Right. And
Exactly.
I what's interesting is the first person who gave me the name was like, oh, here's so and so. I'm like, all right. So I went down that path. But again, before I passed it on to make, the direct connection, I was like, I need to ensure that what I'm looking for and what this person does are the same thing. And they
Right.
turned out not to be. So
Right. So quality is a very important piece of the whole referral, being active in the whole situation and not just passively handing off names and then following up.
yeah, I mean, I think it just, we mentioned this before, and but since this is video, we can say it a couple times and people may hear it once. But this idea of like just making the referral for the sake of making a referral is not enough, you know. And so many of us are pressured, especially if we're in a networking environment, to make a referral, make a referral, make a referral. Um, you know, and in this case, like, no, I'm not going to make this referral because I'm not comfortable with it, and I'm not going to do that. There's also, and I hate to go there, but I'm going to go there, right? There's some folks, it's not a case of I can't find a referral partner, a referral for them, is that I don't want to refer to that person. There's just some people, and I'm sure people feel that way about me, which is cool. It's just like, you know, sorry, but no, I, you know, I'm not going to do that. Was that the cat? Okay.
Chasing a
For
squirrel down the
the
fence.
audience, Angela has cats. So when she starts to bounce like that, apparently there's a fuzzy
Yep, this
perpetrator
table
behind all of
should
that.
be a lot more secure than it is.
It's just like, it's kind of easy. Um, you know, but unfortunately, in referral networking and these people that you're going to run into, and they may even be in your group, there may be folks that you're like, nope, nope, not going to do that. Um, and what's funny is I remember a long time ago, this is not somebody who's currently in my networking these days, but a long time ago, I had somebody who was in a networking group. And after about 6 months, the person confronted me and said, you know, I don't understand why you don't make referrals to me. And I was like, hmm. I'm like, oh, well, I really haven't found anybody who, suits what you need. But I mean, the reality was, I don't like you. Sorry. Part of this whole idea of referral is we, like and trust you. And if I can't get to that point, I'm simply not making referrals. So,
Point to it.
yeah.
Obligation should not be a part of it. It should be you want to give the referral because it is a trusted partner.
I mean, for me, the first criteria of any referral is, do they meet the needs, or do they satisfy, what we're looking for? Okay. If multiple partners satisfy that, fall into that realm, then I'm going to fall back to like who's referred to us, but I mean, but first and foremost is, does this person, do I know them? Do I trust them? And do they meet what I'm looking for, or what the referral partner is looking for? So that, that has to be the number one, is that I have to know them, I have to trust them, that they'll do a good job. And they have to, I have to believe that they are the solution that this person is looking for. So, it's not simply like, I'm going to give you a lead because I owe you one, because if you're not the right fit, I wouldn't do that. So just to clarify that point, but if I have several folks that are equally qualified or equally, have the ability to satisfy the needs, then I'm going to go to the next level of like, okay, who refers, who doesn't, when's the last time, do I owe them one, those types of things. And that's when I'm breaking out my list of like people and obligations and who referred to me and how many have I gotten and how many do I owe. And yes, we keep that list.
Yes. And I have one final question. So, if somebody is asking for a referral and you don't have enough information, or you've looked through your list and you're like, oh, there's several possibilities, how important is it to clarify exactly what they're looking for?
I mean, I like this is, you're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this sort of where my mind went, sort of, mind map of this thing. Is I like to be the Google of referral marketing. And what I mean by that is that Google's goal, and I've said this in previous episodes, is to give you the best possible, most likely response for what you're looking for. Right? Ideally, if Google does its job well, the first thing that it serves up satisfies your question or inquiry. Right. Which is why, and they do a good job, because that's why most of us never scroll past the first page or even scroll past the break. We look at the first couple and it meets that need. So for me, like, I want to be the Google of referral marketing. Like, I want to make sure that what I'm referring is, you don't need to scroll to the next page. Right. You don't have to come back to me like, yeah, that wasn't it. What about three more? Like, so if I don't have a good sense of that, yes, I will seek more data and I will seek more information to make sure that it is a good referral. And a lot of times people come to us like, do you know an attorney? And I'm like, yeah, you got to give me more than that. It's just like,
Yes.
we're talking family law, we talking PI, like, you got to get, what's going on and why do you need an attorney? Because there's a lot of different types of attorneys. So, yes, I know an attorney. Sadly, I know a lot of them. So, but that doesn't mean, like, you got to give me more. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the specific situation that I was thinking of is somebody came to me and said, I need somebody who does team building for corporate. And
Mm.
my gosh, I know lots of people that do team building for corporate. So I went back to them and I asked a little bit more specifically, is there a special type of team building that you want? And she said, oh, yeah, we want improv. And I'm like, it would have been great to know that from the get
You
go.
could
I
have
know,
led with that, right? You talk about burying the
and I
lead, right?
actually know three people that do that. So I had to ask some more questions to
Yeah.
really refine exactly the flavor of what the team building activity, the size of the team, do they know each other? Are they just being formed as a team? That kind of thing. But yeah, I think that is another responsibility as an intentional referral partner is to really find out how to make that good fit referral.
And just because I like to recycle old content, right? I'm going to say that, to be a good referral partner is to work on your value proposition, to have a very succinct and clear statement about what you do. Because a lot of times I'll work with somebody new and I'm like, so tell me about, what you do. And 20 minutes later, they're still telling me. And by that point, I've glossed over. I've probably started checking my emails. You know what I mean? And I can't remember most of it. So when, like when a referral comes up, like, huh? You know what I mean? So like, anyone, most of us who have gone to referral meetings, like describe what you do in less than 10 words or describe what you do in 7 words. And the reason why we ask for that is we want to get to the point. We need to know what you do. We need to know what your value proposition is. And if it takes you 20 minutes to tell me, you've lost me.
Right. If you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you need to go back to ground zero.
Because most 5-year-olds are quite fluent in corporate law. So yes, of course. Yeah, we're going to explain to the 5-year-old why how this person does mergers and acquisitions. But yeah, yeah, let me just distill it down.
Well, yes. Imagine that you have the GI Joes over here, and yeah.
And they want Barbie's dream house. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to do a
So
partnership with Ken.
how can we wrap this up in a nice, beautiful little bow, Mike?
So a good referral, right? A good referral. I'm going to give you mine. You give me yours. I think a good referral is based on relationships with about people that we know can meet the needs of the request, that we trust that will do a good job, and that for better or for worse, the aspect of sort of giving back and forth will keep them top of mind, right? So if I get a big referral last week and you haven't referred to me in 6 months, and someone's asking for something that you both do, who do you think is going to come top of mind?
Person who gave you a referral last.
So you need to, so there's a big aspect of, being top of mind through this process. A lot of times, and a lot of times what'll happen is the person who gave to me 6 months ago probably gave me 8, but the person last week is the one I remember because it happened last week. So, unless I take out my sheet and I start counting like, oh, so and so, which I do. But if it's just off the top of my head, I'm probably going to remember the person who referred to me last week.
Right.
So you need to be sort of engaged, because if too much time goes by, people forget about us, and you need to be top of mind.
Happens very quickly. And the other side of it is if this is your marketing
Strategy.
agenda, your
Yeah.
strategy, you need to be super intentional about it. So you need to be very active in the process. Make sure that you vet the people that you're referring. Make sure that you stay in a feedback loop and find out, did it work out great? Was it a good referral? And then just really keeping track of everything that you're doing so that you know for a fact, I've given some great referrals over here, haven't gotten any back. I have another choice. I'm going to make it.
There you go. So we appreciate. What are we going to talk about next time? What's on the agenda? What do you think?
Well, have we talked about CRMs and how to keep track of all of this stuff?
What, my Google Doc isn't enough for you?
Well, I have a
It's
CRM and I
not
know
pretty,
that
so no, it's not.
I am not using my CRM to its fullest advantage. I'm using it really well in some areas and not in others.
So I take it we're talking about CRMs.
We're going to open up that can of worms on maybe just one portion of it, but we're going to open up that can of worms.
Okay. And as a preview to that, can you tell us what CRM stands for?
Customer relationship management.
All right. So next time we're going to talk about customer relationship management. We look forward to seeing you. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you realize that we're crazy, but whatever, that's good. If you like the craziness, give us a like, give us a
Follow them
shout
back.
down below, follow back, whatever it is. If you don't like the craziness, sorry, it is what it is. It's not going to get any better.
Bye,
Bye.
Mike.
Bye.